Hey, we're on live. I'm a few seconds early. What the heck? Well, welcome back to Jam 2 Production Podcast, Voice of the Past, Power for the Future. The place where stories are just not told. They're honored. Now let me take you back for a second, okay? I was just 16 years old, working in graveyard shift at a convenience store in Crystal City. One night, this man walked in, calm, sharp, and carrying something more powerful than just experience. He looked at me, a young kid, chasing a dream with a video camera, and dropped a line that stuck with me to this day. It doesn't matter what kind of camera you have, as long as you're there to take the picture. That man is Arturo Turi Gonzales. Now at 77, retired, Turi lived enough life for three men. From picking crops up north in Wisconsin as a migrant worker, to saving lives as an EMT, to serving his people in Zavala County as constable and mayor of Crystal City. But more than that, he's a storyteller, a historian, and the eye behind the lens. Founder of the Raza Unida Party, member of the American GI Forum, Lions Club, and Barrio Club member. Turi has filmed and documented over 70 films, 76 and maybe even more. He's got more stories than, oh my gosh. Telling the raw, unfiltered stories of Crystal City, the Japanese internment camp, the rise of the Raza Unida, FBI investigations and surveillance, and even UFO sightings. Oh yeah, you heard me right. UFO sightings. His passion is Chicano history, the truth, and capturing it. One photo, one video, and one memory at a time. Today, I'm honored to sit here. Where am I? Okay, to sit here with a man that inspired me when I was just a kid at a late night shift in a dream. Arturo Turi Gonzales, welcome to the show, brother.
Well, thank you very much, Jesse. I'm pleased to be here.
Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate coming on. I really haven't done this with a person live in my studio, and I am super stoked and excited. You know, let's move on with this question, but give me a little bit about yourself first.
Oh, a little bit. Well, I've lived for so long, and maybe that is why I have some history,
right?
Because I've lived it. And I've been everywhere. I've been in a lot of states. As a matter of fact, I was born in Gilroy, California. I was born to a young Hispanic couple, my father, Angel, my mother, Oralia. And I was in Gilroy, California for just about the first 3 months of my life. I never went back, except when I was 60 years old, I had to go visit my hometown or the place of birth. One interesting thing about Gilroy, California, is that California is the capital, the garlic capital of the world. But see, now I live in Crystal City, which is the spinach capital of the world. So what if you saute some garlic and some spinach, and now you have a base for almost any meal.
You get a Turi.
And of course, after following the migrant stream along with my parents, it's a tough life and hard life. But the good thing about it, it's a family unit. The family keeps together.
Right.
That's the good part. And same goes for every other family that was a migrant. Mm-hmm. But after the migrant work, came home, and I was fortunate. I was born, I think, in a good time. because then I got to serve the community as a school board member and a city council and a mayor and a constable, and I was even the chairman for the Zavala County Democratic chairman. And by the way, I'm still an elected official. Most people don't know that I am, but I am. And what I mean is I am a precinct chairman of the Democratic Party.
Right.
And nobody, Jesse, I'm going to tell you right now, nobody dares run against me. And you know why?
Why is that?
Because the position doesn't pay. Otherwise, they'd have kicked me out a long time ago.
That's what's happening.
But I was fortunate that the history of Crystal City, it's not that I am a historian. I was part of that history that developed in Crystal City.
Right.
We've done not only national news, but worldwide news because of some of our actions. I was glad to be part of it.
Yeah, and actually, I think you've come up in some recent, what is it, a newscast with old pictures because they couldn't find a recent one.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's move on.
Sure.
We have a short video. Well, actually, it's a pretty lengthy video. If you want to elaborate a little bit on it.
Yes. This video that we recently made, it is the very earliest recollection of my life, which was I was about 4, maybe 5 years old,
Right.
and this was done way back on the past century, 1951, between 1951 and 52. Now, this video, I was telling you, Jesse, that it's a little long because I was used to making just short stories of, I don't know, 8 to 12 minutes.
Right.
And es nada más una plática. But I think I went too long on this one. I think I did about 22 minutes.
Right.
So I was just thinking that we should cut it in half and come back and maybe
show the rest.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to run this video right now and just bear with it. And I'm hoping that it runs how I programmed it. Otherwise, forgive me. It's Turi's fault.
Let me say
Sure.
a little bit on this video. This video is based on a totally different life and lifestyle, which goes back more than 50 years, more like 60 years or more, where times were different.
Right.
But and times were hard, and we did what we did because we had to do it.
Right.
So this video you're going to see is, remember, when I was 4 or 5 years old. And I hope you like it.
Okay. Well, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and run that video. Like I said, please be patient because I haven't done this in a while and I need to just remove this video here and add the new one. There, it's gone. There we go.
Along with my videographer from Carrizo Springs, Texas, El Jesse Perales. Arturo Turi Gonzales from Crystal City, Texas. Crystal City, also known as Cristal. And in the streets, it's called El Vidrio. We are the Spanish capital of the world, the Huma Papa, and the birthplace of La Raza Unida Party. Today, I'm going to take you way, way back to about 1951 or between 51 and 52. I'm only about 5 years old. And if I use a little code switching, you know what that is, right? Like Tex-Mex, like Spanglish. En veces uso, certain words in Espanol, and then I change back and forth. But either way, you'll understand or you get the hang of it. This section that I'm going to do is a very personal one, very personal one. Sometimes I even get a little emotional. I hope I don't get emotional because I don't want to embarrass myself. So here we go, 1951. We are at my grandmother's house in Crystal City, Texas, right on Valverde Street and Avenue B. And we're getting ready for a journey, una hondada peligrosa, dangerous journey. My mom, my brother, and I, one late afternoon, we're getting ready, and we know it's going to be a journey, and we know that there are certain dangers or precautions that we got to take. So we're going to the state of Wisconsin. We're going on a truck, a tandem truck owned by my tío Necho, Indalecio Mendez. And my tío Necho lives about 2 blocks from our house. So we have to walk there to get onto that truck because a bunch of us are migrating from Crystal City to Wisconsin. So my mom and us, as much as we could carry, and what I mean is luggage or bags, anything we could carry in our hands. And I was only 5 years old, maybe my brother was 6 years old, and we were carrying all this stuff. And we head out with my mother in tow with us in the back. So when we got there, it's kind of mysterious because there was like a hush-hush. Everybody was talking in a very slow tone of voice because we knew that it was, it's complicated. That trip had been planned for a long time. And a lot of people showed up, grown-ups and kids and just about everybody that needed to go to Wisconsin. So we started, everybody started getting to the truck, and I was about the last one along with my abuelo Poloy. My abuelo Poloy and I were sitting in the back of the truck, and they got all the luggages. Now, there's one important point to this. The middle of the truck was sitting planks, wooden planks across, so we could put luggage on top of it. Lots and lots of luggage. Everybody wanted to take everything, all your house, take it with you. And there's a bunch of us in there. I can't tell you an exact number, but I don't know, 15, 20 of us that had to fit in the tandem truck. And the floor was covered with bags and stuff, and the planks were covered with the heavier stuff. So everybody got jammed in there, ready to go. And we had some technology back then. Technology. Because there were no phones. There was no TVs. There was no way of communicating. We didn't have GPS and all that stuff we have now. But we had a little technology. There was 2 wires that ran from the front to the back. If you had an emergency, you hit those 2 wires and a light would go in the front. So you do it a few times and it would blink in front. Cool. Well, we headed out, but we soon found out that those planks were not good enough. My tia Nena was right under in a corner, and she was in charge of that technology with the wires. So when we took off, every time we hit a bump, those planks would sway, would kind of cone down. And with all that weight, and people were stacked right under it, along with the sides. Everybody was just crammed in there. So we had to use the technology, stop the truck, get some of the stuff from the bottom, from the top, back to the bottom. So now it's even more uncomfortable. We take off again. But our first stop was in Uvalde. Now we're traveling 35 miles an hour, okay? Takes a long time. As a matter of fact, it would take 3 days and 3 nights to get to our destination. So we would stop in Uvalde. We had family there, and we're still all right. See, we're in Texas. And I have to say, back then, racism and discrimination were at their highest. It was thick. You could feel it. We were unliked. We were Mexicans, the bean eaters, the greasers. So racism and discrimination was so thick, it's like cutting a flour tortilla in half. That thick. So we get to Uvalde and we're okay. Use the restrooms, fine. Now we start up again. San Antonio is still okay because we got a lot of Chicanos there. But beyond San Antonio and Austin, it becomes a little dangerous. Why? Because a lot of gas stations wouldn't sell us gas. They wouldn't let us use the toilets. And some of us, or a few of us, very few of us, kind of knew the trail and kind of knew where we were allowed to gas up. Now, the tandem truck, it was covered with a green army canvas, so we were hidden. We had to hide. They couldn't see us. I guess I saw ourselves like the gringos or European Americans. They were the cats, and we were the mice. So we had to hide from them. So we're hidden in this tandem truck, but we had on both sides, along the side, we had a 1x4 board kind of hanging, and we could flip it up and get fresh air, or flip it down so they wouldn't see us. Pretty smart. Anyway, once we crossed Dallas, now it gets a little dangerous because we go into Texarkana, and Texarkana was not friendly. Arkansas was the very worst. And not only that they wouldn't let us gas up or use the bathrooms, they would curse us up and run us off. And I remember it's all very vivid in my mind. And I would hear my family or friends that were there, hay rétulos, are there signs? See, the signs that we're looking for, signs that had outside that said, no blacks, no Mexicans, and no dogs allowed. I didn't know the English language, but those signs I knew. If you stop at a place and you didn't see the sign right away, that was a possibility. And if we would get gas, Tio Necho would get off by himself, and he would kind of scope the place to see how friendly they were. If there was nobody around and one attendant only, well, we take a chance, go to the restroom. If that worked, do another one, and we get by. But most of the time, eso sí está gacho. Most of the time, we had to stop on the side of the road. Now, mind you, back then there weren't that many cars, not at all, not like now. So there was a chance every time we saw a wooded area, on the side of the road, and my Tio Necho would kind of kick the tires and go around the truck like he's checking. There's no cars. He'd open the back door. The ladies go out, and everybody was just trailing down the right. Go to the right. Go into the woods. So they all go into the woods. And then the men next, they would go across the road into the woods and do their business. But before we took off, we always had those. I think it was Sears.
Okay, guys, I've stopped it there. We're going to continue with the questions. And hopefully, when I start it back up, it'll go straight there. I've never done this before with video, so hopefully it'll start from where we left off later on, and we can continue watching it. But for right now, I'm going to continue with the questions with Turi, and this is the foundation in early life. And if you want to elaborate on this video a little bit more, it's fine, okay? But I'm going to go with the questions, and you decide
Yeah,
which
go
way
ahead.
you want to go. Turi, let's take it back. What was life like growing up in Crystal City, and how did it shape your worldview?
Well, it's a lot different because back then the living conditions were very poor, food was very scarce, work was very hard, the school was not friendly at all. We had so many things to contend with, and of course we didn't have TVs. Everyone would listen to the radio, and the ladies would listen to the novelas, so we were stuck listening to the novelas. But once a week, we would go to the theater, to the Mexican theater, and see Mexican movies. So growing up, all my heroes were Mexican actors. Compared to now, of course it's a lot different, and it is a lot better. Living conditions are better. We now have vehicles, and we don't have to walk or pedal a bike.
Yeah.
Food is a lot better to get to, and we don't have to travel so much. And we have the comfort of cars. Of course, there's a lot of difference between then and now.
Well, let me ask you a quick question
Sure.
in between there. Do you think that the Raza Unida movement had something to do with the way Crystal City is shaped now?
Of course, it had everything to do with it. You see, back then we had a problem. Everybody was a migrant field worker, and we had no choice. That's what we did. And so, we considered after a while, after several years, I was already 20, 21, when people started to think, you know what, we deserve a little more. You have to know that. The population in Crystal City, 80% were Hispanics.
Yeah.
And then we had 20%, 15 or 20% Anglo-Saxons or European Americans, however you want to call them. And they were in charge of the whole municipality and all the government entities. So we had nothing. We had no protection. We had nothing at all. That inspired a lot of people, and people were ready to make a change, and we had to make a change, and we did make a change, and that change came through La Raza Unida Party.
Right.
Now, let me, I hope your followers can understand this. Whatever we did under La Raza Unida and for La Raza Unida, we did not do it by choice. We did not do it by choice, but by necessity.
Yeah.
We had to do it, and this is the reason we will never be liked, because everybody kind of went that route, that we could get elected, and we were elected, and that bettered our whole life, including our education.
Okay. Well, I kind of went off track there, but that's
problem.
Cool. Yeah. What do you remember most about your time as a migrant worker in Wisconsin? Any stories that stuck with you? I mean, we just heard this one, which is amazing. We have, oh my gosh, I don't know how many stories we have on Wisconsin and your time as a migrant worker. But what is the one thing that stuck to you the most there?
That's hard to say, because there's so many things in my mind and in our mind, because migrant field workers went through a lot. But there was one great big difference that I saw, and to this day it still is. The South versus the North.
Yeah.
The Southerns against the Yankees. The Yankees were the good guys.
Right.
And I attribute that to that people up north, and especially in the state of Wisconsin, Minnesota, the higher states, the population there was formed through many minorities. You know, we had the Polish, the Germans, the Greeks, the Italians. They were all minorities, and we were just one more minority among minorities. So they didn't see us as the quote beaners or dirty Mexicans and the such. They just saw us as people. They were cordial, and that shocked me since I was a little kid. The big difference between the North and the South.
Okay, wow. I didn't know that. Was there a moment in your early life that sparked a passion for documenting history and telling stories?
Not only me, I think everybody has a passion for history.
Right.
We have to cherish history and we have to preserve it to share with everyone else for the new generations that are coming up. Many now don't know the hardships we had back then. Back then, you know, as I said before, no TVs, no entertainment at all. You always had to watch out for yourself, and you had to protect your own. Back then, almost every family, as they say, it's safety in numbers. We had no police, we had no 911, we had no ambulance service, we had nothing. So families kind of stuck together, and it wasn't, to nobody's surprise, every solid block, one block around, it was all family.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
uncles and aunts and madrinas and padrinos, everybody stuck together. We all had to do that.
Right.
So, yes.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to show the second part of the video.
Go
now.
ahead. Sure.
Yeah, and hopefully it begins for where we left off. If not, we're just going to go ahead and move on because it'll be hard to come back to this
Sure.
one spot.
If it doesn't start where you're supposed to start, it's your fault, not mine.
Yeah. Okay. Then here we go with the second part of the video. It's about 12 minutes long, and we're going to watch it all the way through if possible. So let's go with that.
Catalogs with a lot of pages. That's good toilet paper. So everybody ripped off 2 pages and then go. So and when everybody's done, you could see them in the bushes. My tío Necho would say, call the ladies in, and then call the man, then we take off again. So we traveled through Arkansas, and right in Memphis, we head straight north, kind of to Missouri. But our eyes were set at a place called Cairo. To this day, I call it paradise. Cairo, Illinois. When we get to Memphis, it was just like, I don't know, 250 miles before we turned off to Cairo. About halfway there, we stopped at a gas station, and there was a sign, no blacks, no Mexicans, and no dogs allowed, so nobody got off the truck. Now, when mi tío Necho was filling up, somebody pulled up those boards so they could see outside, right? And they see a bakery. Pan dulce. Órale. So I was an asset. Let me tell you something about me. I was so cute when I was a kid. I had blonde hair. Believe it or not, I had totally blonde hair. And my skin tone was totally white. I show you my legs right now, but that's embarrassing. They're white. That's why I don't wear shorts. Chale con los cortes, vato. No, I'm two-tone. So I was white, and I could pass. I could even go through the doors. But I couldn't speak English, so I didn't dare open my mouth. What they did, they gave me, I don't know, $2 or $3, whatever it was. They told me, mira, mijo, vas pa dentro. You go inside, and you show them the money. Enséñale la feria. Y a ver qué te dicen. Let's see what they say. And I'm game, you know. I had no choice. I was chosen. So I went and let me tell you, that parking lot where I had to go to that bakery seemed like a football field. I was only about this big, this tall. And it was dangerous. And I was incognito. I was a spy. That's how I felt. I go across the parking lot, and I opened the door, and I walked in. Let me tell you what I saw. I can't forget this. The counters were on the side, glass counters, and then one right across, and right on the counter, there's this big white lady, German light, had blonde curl hair, grayish blue eyes, had both hands on the counter, just staring down at me. And I walked out there, tried to do a straight face, and I picked up the money. And she said, "What do you want?" I think that's what she said. I didn't understand what she was saying. And I picked up my money again. And she looks around, and she probably said, "Do you want this and this and this and this?" And I went. So she started to fill up a bag, a big bag. You remember, back then, I don't know, piece of bread was 2 cents, 3 cents, and they gave me $2 or 3. So she filled up one big bag. Then she filled another one. And I could smell the bread there. Oh, it's a bakery, and I was so hungry. Well, she filled up 2 bags, and she gave them up to me. Now what do? I can't open the door. So I walked back to the door, and I heard footsteps behind me, and she opened the door for me. Baboso, I got it covered. So as soon as I walked out, I saw that tandem truck. It's funny now, but what I saw, everybody had flipped those boards so they could see outside, and all I could see was so many eyes just popping out of their sockets looking at me, and they're seeing that I've got all this sweet bread. And I could hear them, ahí lo trae el pan, he's got the bread. And here I am walking across that football field, and I just wanted to get in there, and the spy went in, and I got out, and I'm still okay, and I'm running. I'm trying to walk with those 2 big bags. But I saw that tender truck back door flip over. One guy, I don't know who it was, got up, took 2 bags, threw them in, threw me back in, and he closed the door. Vámonos! And everybody was cheering and hollering and screaming and clapping. I was a hero. Yo era el héroe de ese día. ¿Qué tal? Not bad, right? Well, continue on. And now people are getting excited. We're close to Cairo. Paradise. Paradise. And I didn't know what it was, but everybody was so excited, so I was excited. Then we turned off on what is now Boomland. They sell a bunch of firecrackers and gift shops, and they sell everything there. Well, we got close to Cairo, but see, before getting to Cairo is the scenic, the view that we waited for. All this trip, everybody was thinking to see the Mississippi River. That was a big thing. And when we turned off, I think it's only about 20, 25 miles to Cairo. So we rode down at 35 miles an hour. and now when we get to that bridge, everybody's crying out, "Míralo, ahí está el Mississippi, watch out, vato." Everybody just flipped up those boards, and the African American, the black community, that's where we were headed to. An enemy incoming. The racist European Americans from Arkansas. And I'll tell you what, there was a feast, a party, a pachanga, a fiesta that I've never seen before, never did expect it. When we got there, and it's by the river someplace, Wish I could go back there one day. Anyway, when we got off the truck, there was a community of our black camaradas, our brothers, and everybody was cheering and hollering and dancing and jumping up and down. And this lady, this black lady, I've always thought she was probably an old lady, but she must have been a young lady. She got me in her arms, and I wrapped my arms around her, and I couldn't let go. And she was up and down dancing with me, and everybody was clapping, and I was trying to dance along with her, and I could not let her go because we were safe now. They took us into their community. And let me tell you, we replenished our supplies. We would eat. We would bathe, use the restrooms. There was a big fire, and we would rest, and the men would gather around, the blacks and the browns. They would gather around and open up a bottle of liquor and beer and barbecue, the whole works. I loved it. Paradise, Cairo, Illinois. We were treated well. On the way back, they did the same thing. And they, not only us, everybody that crossed the Mississippi, they would cross it through Cairo because that was a place to go. The next morning, we take off again. But now we are in Lincoln country, Yankee country. We were treated a lot better. Now we could gas up. Now we could use the toilets. Now it's day to celebrate. Now we can flip those boards up and get air, fresh air in there. Because by that time we kind of smelled a little bad. And we weren't, it's a long way there to our destination, but now we can manage. Anyway, when we got to the Mexican village in Wind Lake, Wisconsin, I remember being so tired, so very tired. Everybody was tired. And when we unloaded whatever we had, again, we got our baggage. And here we are trailing after my mom, walking, not a bad distance, not even a half a block away. My mother said, "That's our house." The light was on. I guess the truck had startled the community there. And I remember to this day that on the door of the house that we would live in, it had a plain window. It wouldn't open up and down. It was just fixed in there. But the curtain went open, and I saw my dad's face. He was waiting for us. And I was so tired, I really couldn't say hi. I just fell on the bed, fell asleep. That's my story.
Turi, that was a wonderful ending there. I saw you got a little emotional there. Can you tell me why you got so emotional?
I always get emotional because the memories are so vivid and the hardship was so strong.
Yeah.
And it was family involved, family and friends. I always get emotional because it's like I got a computer chip in my brain that brings out all these memories.
Right.
And I got a good memory still. I'm 77 years old. In a couple of months, I'll be 78.
Wow.
But I still have those recordings in my mind. And I could have made this story about in 3 sessions because there was a lot more to this. But this is basically and commonly what migrants go through when traveling up north.
Right.
There's also all kinds of problems with the car, and especially if you break down, it's hard to, where are you going to get parts?
Yeah.
And wherever you break down, you're going to have to walk. Nobody's going to pick you up. So, and this is why I say that sometimes when you fix a flat, or the truck breaks down, people will get down and make a fire and cook beans because it was going to take that long
Right.
to before you started it up again. So emotionally, yes, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. There's other people get emotional when they start to think about this. And let me tell you, Jesse, I think that's what you and I and everybody seem to know, that old people sit on their porch and they rock themselves back and forth, and
Right.
once in a while they smile.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And there's a
They're
memory.
bringing up those stories.
A memory. That's so awesome. We're going to move on to photography and video.
Yes.
Yeah. You once told me some time back, and it stuck with me. It doesn't matter what kind of camera you have, as long as you're there to take the picture. Can you break down what that means to you today?
Well, it's still today. You see a lot of people with these big, fancy cameras, and you say, "Oh my God, this guy is good." No, he's not.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the big fancy cameras?
If you're there and nobody else is there, you have to find where to go take photos. You got to be there, and you got to be ready. I'm always ready. I've always had a camera. I always will, and I will keep doing it forever. It's very important. Now, some people call photography, when it comes to photography, some people call them pictures. Of course.
Me?
And professionals call them photographs.
Right.
I'll go one step beyond that.
Let's see.
I call them the solidification of historical movements,
Oh my God.
because that's exactly what it is. You solidify moments in somebody's life that you will never have again.
Well, I tell you what, I'm glad you didn't say that to me then, because that wouldn't have stuck to me.
Well, and it is what it is, and that's how I see it. I just cannot see myself without a camera, and I love that everybody has one in their hand now.
Oh.
Now, if you ask me, let me go back a little bit. If you ask me, who is going to prove that there is extraterrestrials, that there is flying saucers, it's us, the public,
Right.
because we all have cameras now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I encourage you, but get a camera. I don't care what it is. If it's your phone, fine. If you want something better, we'll find. But be there to take the photo.
We just can't get a clear shot of Bigfoot. That's the only thing. We get shots of everything but Bigfoot.
Jesse, where we live, we have no Sasquatches. We have cactus, hot weather, scorpions, rattlesnakes. That's what we got.
Okay. Man, did I lose my place? Okay. Out of the 70 videos you've produced, which one means the most to you and why?
Oh my! And there might be one that we still haven't made that has always stuck in my mind. And that was one that my brother Mando and I was about 3 years old, 2.5, 3 years old. We were in Montana, in Bighorn, Montana. And I remember it's so cold, it was snowing, and there was a plank, a wooden plank. And when it was snowing, we wanted to play in the snow. But I'm giving away my story, but
Yeah. okay.
but we only had one pair of shoes, see? So we couldn't play together. I would stand in the plank of wood while he put the shoes and played in the snow. After a while, he would come and give me his shoes, and he would stand in the plank, and I would play in the snow, but we could not play together. And I know that's kind of sad, but see, that sticks in my mind. But to tell you what really sticks out in my mind, I'll tell you what, all of them.
All of them.
All my life, all my history, everything I've done, everything I've seen, everyone that I've been with, it's just extraordinary. A whole life is extraordinary.
Yeah. Right. And for those that do video and pictures, we see them constantly here. I know for sure that I do. Okay. How did you teach yourself photography?
Photography?
Photography, that word. Photography and videography. Was it a trial and error? or did someone mentor you?
Okay, I think I'm going to repeat myself a little bit, but see, I bought my first camera when I was 12 years old. I was sold. I mean, I had to have a camera. And from then on, it went from one camera to the other camera to the other camera to the other camera. Then I did the film. I was very good at the film.
Right.
Then the film went out, the ship came in, and I kept doing it. But every photo, I can tell you that I can see almost every photo that I've taken. I've taken thousands and thousands and thousands of photos. Let me give you an example of how many photos I've taken. A gentleman came to my house, an older gentleman. He says, look, I know you have a picture of my daughter when she was little. You think I could have it? I said, sure. Come here. I'm not going to charge you. I want you to look for it. So I gave him 2 barrels full of pictures. I said, if you can find it, it's yours. Good. So he sat down. This is not a lie. The next day, I forgotten about him. I was outside in my house, and I heard something in my shed, and I went over, and he's sitting there. He said, I found 2. I said, okay, if I would have found them for you, how much do you think I was going to charge you for his picture? He says, oh, no, I understand. Thank you very much. See, but I don't throw anything away.
That's
It's all treasure.
Well, as you've seen, I showed you my disc, how full it is of all my work that I've done. I just cannot toss anything out.
Right.
It's difficult for a creator.
Sure.
Content creator, it's just difficult to throw it out.
But I have to say, I did go to Southwest Texas Junior College and took a class in photography.
Oh, okay.
So
That's good,
that
yeah.
helped. That helped a lot.
Of course, yeah. It does help.
Sure.
All my classes have been online with YouTube and all that.
Okay.
And it began in 2010 when YouTube was at its infancy to learn how to edit and all that. Well, we're not here about me.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. What one historical moment you wish you had captured but missed?
I have to tell you a funny one.
Yeah.
It's a funny one. Now, I've missed a lot, and I missed one going through, I wanted to take a picture of the Pope, and I had to go through, they had blockades, but I was a constable, and every time I would get to one, I would flash a badge, and they would let me in time after time after time until I found a good corner. I stood there, I saw the car, and he was looking the other way
Yeah.
when I was going to take the picture.
Right.
So I missed that one. But the funny one, that's not funny, but but the funny one was in your hometown, Carrizo Spring, Texas.
Really?
Yeah. I was contracted to do a wedding years ago. And I didn't know the family, but everybody was there, and it was at a particular place. It was their house. Normally that's what we do, right?
Right.
In the back of the house, we
Right.
have the wedding. Now, everybody was dressed up. The madrinas, the padrinos, the dad on both sides, and the moms were a suit. And we had the judge, and they had a little makeshift altar or something like that.
Right.
And a place where they were going to kneel and stuff. And the bride was there, and the groom was there. And just about when everybody was just tuned to the first word so we could start it. Mm-hmm. Then a chicken went under the preacher's legs and then ran between the bride and the groom. And the groom turned around. He said, "You damn chicken!" And he turned around and kicked it like a football way over the audience. And I missed the shot. I missed it. Nobody was ready for it. It only took 2 or 3 seconds. And I'm good, but maybe I'm not that good. So I missed that shot, and I thought it was kind of funny.
That's amazing. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, man. It doesn't get old, I tell you what. We're going to move on to history, identity, and Chicano pride.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Why is it important for us, especially young Chicanos, to know our local and cultural history?
Well, first is the word Chicano. The word Chicano comes from Mexico.
Right.
It wasn't given to us. See, we're not Latinos because we don't speak Latin.
Right.
We're not. They call us Hispanics because we speak Spanish, and we're not from Spain.
Exactly.
And of course, we're not cholos either.
Yeah.
And they call us all kinds of names, the Mexican Americans and Spanish talking. But they assign that name to us to make us different.
Right.
I don't care how hard you work to prove to be seen as an American, because you will never be just American. They have to put a title to you, because you cannot be an American. So you're a Mexican American, a Hispanic American, a Chicano, Latino, Hispano, whatever they want to call you. But the word Chicano comes from Mexico, and I'll tell you why. Back before, during the Mexican Revolution, which was 1910, right before the breakout, some Mexicanos crossed the river because they were hunted by the opposition party.
Right.
And they arrested them in El Paso. And they wanted them transferred back to Mexico so they could punish them. Punish like in a line of rifles.
Right.
But see, this gringo lady, but this is what I'm saying. There's a lot of good ones. There's a bad influence in the white people, and there's very good ones. I think the good ones outweigh the bad ones. But anyway, that's just an opinion. This lady bailed them out. And I saw an article that said Juan Carlos Vasquez, or whatever his name was, I bonded him out, and along with two other Chicanos. And that's in 1910.
Wow.
So the word Chicano goes back that far.
That far back.
That far.
Yeah.
Even before migration started.
Yeah.
So I refer to myself as Chicano.
Chicano.
I don't refer to myself as Mexican American, because I never was born in Mexico. I never lived in Mexico. So right. I'm not Mexican. I mean, I'd be proud to be one, but I'm not. So, and I'm not looked at as an American. So either I'm not a Mexican and I'm not an American. So I know where I am, I know where I stand, and I am Chicano. My family is Chicano, my community is Chicano, and we're good with that. And we have to preserve that, because they will not see us any different.
I agree. What's something about the Raza Unida Party that most people don't know?
Elections in
Right.
Crystal City.
Right.
Then when I found out what it meant, it angered me. And now, I'm proud of it. I'm glad I was an agitator, and I still am. And a political activist, yes, I am.
Right.
Now you can call me that. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, that's good.
I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah. It should answer most of our questions here that we had.
But first and foremost, I am Chicano.
Chicano.
Yes, sir.
Chicano all the way.
By the way, I'm now a Democrat. Is that a turncoat?
I'm Chicano.
Chicano Democrat.
I'm Chicano. Okay. We'll talk about that later.
All right. Getting too personal here.
Yeah. You done work on the Japanese internment camp in Texas. How did that story come across your lens, and what did you teach? What did it teach you?
Well, Japanese and Japanese Americans had always been part of our lives. Now, I went to school at what used to be their camp. Now, during World War II, when Japan attacked United States,
Right.
of course, they arrested every single Japanese and Japanese American.
Right.
And what they wanted was a exchange. They figured that once the war was over, we're going to have a bunch of Americans that were imprisoned over there. So we thought we could use them as to an exchange program. I'll give you Japanese, you give me Americans.
Yeah.
But these Japanese, they didn't want to go to Japan. They weren't Japanese. They were Americans.
Right.
But see, I went to those schools, and I've always known of the Japanese community. As I was growing up, my father told me much about them and who had worked them and how they were treated. And my father said, you know what? the Americans, the soldiers there, couldn't figure out why we wouldn't hate the Japanese since they were our enemies.
Right.
Well, we were more like allies. We were prisoners at that time ourselves because we were living in tents and in shacks. That was before my time.
Right.
So, and my father said, and besides, a lot of them look like us. So we created a good relationship with them. And so
Right.
we growing up, historian Richard G. Santos
Right.
was in Crystal City and was doing a good job. And one time I mentioned it to him. I said, why don't you write something on the Japanese prisoners here? He said, what Japanese? He didn't know. So I tuned him in and he went crazy with it. He went crazy with it. And I was part of the Zavala County Historical Commission. I was a member of it. And being a photographer and videographer, well, then we arranged a visit into Cristal.
Right.
But even before that, back in '84, I had a good opportunity to meet a young lady, a lady. And I have to tell you this story because this was back in 1984 or something like that. Ron Carr was a county judge, and he called me and said, hey, Turi, you know what? There's this Japanese lady that's going to come in, and we'd like to take some pictures. So we went to the place where the Japanese and Germans would use a swimming pool.
Right.
And I saw this lady, and I said, no, that can't be right. See, she looked like late 20s. So I figured, 1941, this is 84, blah, blah, blah. She's got to be 40, 50 years old, and she was a kid. She ain't over 50 years old. Something wrong here. Well, I found out that she was 54. She was real good looking.
Right.
Now, the relationship starts when simple things. She meditated there at the swimming pool. I think it was because of the two little Peruvian Japanese girls that drowned there.
Right.
And that was very spiritual. And when she was gone, there was nothing almost left, but there was still a little building. So what I did, I had a pocket knife, and I clipped off a little splinter. And I said, Mom, you know what? I'd like for you to take something back with you. He said, what? So I showed her the splinter. I said, well, it's something you can take. And let me tell you, it was shocking to all of us. She looked at it. She opened her purse. She unfolded a beautiful handkerchief. It had red ruffles around it. And she opened it, extended her hands so I could place it on there. I placed the splinter and she folded it. She said, thank you very much. I'm going to take it with me. So their mind is still there at the camp. And see, their folks were there, her parents were there. And that opened the door where I said, we got to do more. Oh, and besides, you know what? I had taken a picture of her and I made I amplified a big photo of her, but I never knew her name until a few years ago when we had a pilgrimage from the Japanese coming in from California. I asked, who is this lady? They say, oh, that's Caroline. Caroline, good. I put a name to it. So that, that kicks it into gear with simple visits like this.
Yeah.
And then we went on to make several, they did several visits to Crystal City. They done several. And now we have a monument, and we have a street, and we have a museum, and we plan to have more coming this October.
Right. Well, the next question is, what role did the American GI Forum and the Barrio Club play in strengthening the community back then? Do you think we need this kind of unity again today here?
I don't know if it ever will come again in the sense that we had it. We had El Barrio Club members, and I don't know if I mentioned this, there were 25 members,
Right.
25 presidents,
Right.
and we had a business, and we made a lot of money for the community in that sense. In the other sense, we had a good leader, Erasmo Andrade. He's not with us anymore.
Right.
But he's the one that started this chapter and the Schefter, we kept it for years, and that's another part that we did, but also to service the community.
Right. Service and struggles. How did you go from being a migrant worker to becoming a Zavala County constable, a mayor? What was that journey like?
It was relatively easy because you have to understand that back then, when I was first elected, nobody wanted to run. It was dangerous. It was totally dangerous.
Right.
The government still was running under another body, and they had the jobs, and if you didn't play the game, they would get rid of you.
Right.
But I was 21 years old, and I didn't care what it was. So it was very easy for me, and this is why I won so easily.
Right.
Besides, I had two good partners that went along with me, two good candidates. And after that, I did 3 years, and the public liked what I did.
Right.
For the community. So then I filed for the city council, and that wasn't a problem because my partner there was a candidate for the city council was Lupe Cortinas, attorney, and Lupe was super powerful and super popular.
Right.
And I had no trouble getting elected, and it kind of went step by step. Finally, I ran for constable.
Right.
And then I re-elected, so I did 8 years.
Okay. Wow, that's good. As an EMT, you must have seen some pretty tough stuff. What stuck with you most from those days of service?
Oh, well, it kept me in my life. I've done 50 years of EMT. I'm still licensed. I don't do it anymore. But seeing the suffering that comes from auto wrecks, I've never, ever in my life gotten a ticket because I obey all state laws. And I never had a crash because I seen what crashes do.
Right.
But of all I've seen, I have to say this: you never, ever, ever see it all. Never, ever see it all. I did see a lot of things. Many people shot, sicknesses, and did a lot of stuff.
Right.
But you never, ever see it all. You get to see new things as they happen.
Right. We're going to move on to... oh, no, I got one more question.
Let's go.
Yeah, did you ever feel pressure or danger documenting the rise of the Raza Unida when the FBI or the Texas Rangers started poking around?
No, I fear none. And not because I am a superhero or anything. I know that they have to go by the law, and I go by the law. I've gone up against Texas Rangers,
Right,
and
yeah.
I've come on top, and you can see my videos.
Right.
FBI they're more courteous because of civil rights,
Right.
and I've always said this: Texas Rangers. They're not going to like what I say about them, but I've always said that Texas Rangers is like a computer. See, they have a motto that says one riot, one ranger. Well, they can come to your community. They don't know anything. You buy a computer, let's say, and it comes in a box, and you take it up, and you plug it. It's a complete idiot. Doesn't know anything unless you feed it information.
Right.
You start writing apps, and then it starts getting smart. See, a Texas Ranger, FBI, I don't care what it is, they come into the community, they know nothing.
Right.
They depend on people to tell them what the problem is, who might be associated, who might have done it. Then they get smart,
Right.
just like a computer.
Okay. We're going to move into another topic.
Let's
okay?
go.
Yeah. This topic is, controversial.
Sure, I love it.
UFOs and the unexpected. Maybe even some ghost stories.
Okay, ghost stories. I don't know about ghost stories, but didn't I mention already a little bit about the UFOs?
Yeah. Well, not on this. It was on the practice run.
All right, all right.
So, anyways, okay. We filmed You filmed the story about UFOs.
Yes.
Tell us about the weirdest one or the most unexplained experience you've ever had. Be honest now.
I'm always honest. And I think I've said it and I said it again. I'll tell you one of them because it involved my family. And I'll tell your followers, whoever wants to challenge me and wants me to take a lie detector test, I will take it. If I flunk it, I pay for it, and I'll give you the money that I paid for the test. Or if I don't fail and I pass, then you pay for the test. How's that?
Yeah, but you also said that you would double it.
I would what?
Double.
I would double it. No problem. All right. Let's see what your audience thinks.
Okay.
Coming from San Antonio, we went on a transport and we left the patient. And coming back, it's early in the morning. I would say 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And we went through a little town called La Pryor, Texas. We went through La Pryor, Texas. I would say 3, 4, maybe 5 miles west, going into Eagle Pass. Eagle Pass sits between El Quemado and El Indio. Anyway, my partner is riding shotgun, and she is a lady, and she's a paramedic, and now she is a nurse, a registered nurse. Well, from a long day, and we're coming back. We're not sleepy or anything, and I'm driving. We're both awake and talking, and then we both did the same thing. Something caught our eye to the right hand of us as we're driving, and we both looked to the side. And this is what I saw, and this is what I think we videotaped this before. They haven't seen it before. I said 4 words within, I don't know, 12, 14 seconds. And I'll share the words with you. When we saw what was coming, I saw something coming like it had turned and then come straight towards us. And it was big, it was fast, it was shiny, it was so fast that I said, whoa! And right after that, it came, I'm telling you that it was, I don't know, 600-700 miles an hour. I mean, it was so fast. Then it came to a complete stop. And I'll say a complete stop, like, just like that, slap, stop. And I said, whoa! Now, going that fast, the thing coming that fast, if I was in there, my head and my brains and everything else would have gone out the window. But it just stopped. That's when it was my second whoa. Then it shot off. I'll tell you what it looked like, but then it shot off. The color of it was super shiny silver color. And if there was any letters, windows, or doors, I would have seen them. There were none. No noise. And when I mean it turned off, you couldn't see it anymore, but like a light bulb, the last thing you see is filaments, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, the filaments, let me tell you what they look like a telephone post. Sometimes they had like 3 planks full of wires.
Right.
That's exactly what it looked like, that filament. And when that suddenly we couldn't see it anymore, it became invisible. And that's when my fourth, whoa, it became invisible. Now, I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking. But the next Sunday, as we always did, my brothers and I, we went to have breakfast with my dad, Angel, el jefe. So we're sitting there after church. No, we didn't go to church. We just dressed up for it. Anyway, we got there and we're having breakfast. And then all of a sudden I said, hey, guys, you know what? Let me tell you what I saw. And I went through the story. And my dad gave me a serious look. And he said, Cabron, Arturo, now you did it. Nah, you've pulled on some good ones, vato, pero this one, man, te fuiste arriba del base de tu cabeza and everything else. Now you did it. I said, really? I mean, this is what happened. I said, no. And then he said, and my brother Dr. Alberto Gonzales, was there kind of shaking his head, agreeing with my dad, and Mando was just looking at me. So my dad said, mira, ¿sabes qué? Call that lady. That lady with me, call her up. Oh, yeah. So he said, and put it on that voice, that whatever you call it. I said, okay, the speaker, yeah. So I called her, and she answered. Right. And I said, oh, Nelda, listen, remember that thing we saw there in La Prairie? She said, what thing? I said, the thing we saw in La Prairie. He says, what are you talking about? When we're coming from San Antonio. Oh, my God. Oh, you know what? I blocked it out. Oh, I got to go tell my family. I got to go tell people. I said, wait a minute. Don't hang up. I said, he said, yeah. I said, okay. When we couldn't see it anymore, what happened? Was it invisible? And she said, no, it completely disappeared. We couldn't see it anymore. I said, then we could see what? He said, well, it was invisible. We could see the stars. I said, thank you. So then I got after my dad and my brothers. What happened there? So, yeah, that's one of them.
The UFO story.
Yeah. And we'll probably air it one of these days.
Okay. Yeah. Well, actually, they are aired.
But it was one of your questions. So.
Yeah.
All right.
They're on YouTube.
All right.
Okay. We're going to move on to legacy and lesson. And these are our 4 final questions. And then I'm going to leave it open to you. And then I'll play the last video.
Well, you better hurry up. We've been here a long time.
Oh, yeah. It's 1 hour. Apenas una hora. Okay. What advice would you give to a young person doing documentaries or photographs out of today, trying to tell real stories with little resources?
You don't need very much resources. As I said before, you got to be there. And a lot of people say, well, what do you mean? I said, well, this is what I did. And what I used to do when there was going to be a convention, like a state convention, any type of convention, and I did the fiesta, right. I called them up and I said, look, I'm a photographer, blah, 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 and they gave me a contract. The same thing with the political conferences. I would call and say, look, you're going to conference, I'm a professional photographer. And I said, do you have press pass credentials? I have a press pass. And see, my local newspaper had given me a press credential.
Right.
I just asked for it, they gave it to me. The deal was, I'll take photos. If you use them, you can use them on your paper.
Right.
And I won't charge. So they would get me in. It's not that hard. I do advise, if you can just get a hold of your state controller and get a text number and tell him what you're going to do.
Right.
And you're set to go. What camera do you need? Any camera, but you got to be there. Of course, if you can afford a good one, it's more impressive, but you don't need it.
Right. You worn lots of hats. What role do you feel defines you the most, and which one taught you the most?
Well, everybody would say the same thing. The best thing I ever done was have a family. I've been married for 54 years with the same one.
Wow.
All my kids are up and educated, and they got their own jobs. They got their own houses, and they don't ask for anything. What else could I afford? That's the best thing I ever did.
Right.
But everything else that I've done, everything counts.
Of course.
I don't care what it is, as long as you do it. Do it for your community. And that would be it.
I agree. I have one really good question here. I think
they're all good questions.
This one would really even speak to me.
All right.
If your camera could talk, what story would it tell that no one else knows?
If my camera could talk. Well, if my camera would tell you, you have no idea where I've been. Because my cameras, I've taken them with me to so many places.
Right.
And if they could talk, they could say to you, you know what? I took a picture presidents. Bill Clinton is on my picture,
Right.
and governor is on my picture. And I took this. I was there with the governor. So yeah, the camera would tell everybody if it could talk,
Right.
it would drive you crazy.
Well, this is our last question.
Good.
When people remember Arturo Turi Gonzales, what's the one thing you hope that they never forget?
That he was honest and a man of his word. You are worthless without it. I don't care how much money you got, how much influence you have, how much education you have. It's your word. And when somebody is telling you, look, between us, I got to tell you something, and it is between you two.
Yeah.
Do not repeat it. Do not repeat anything.
Right.
And I've learned that some things are so obvious that you make up your own mind and you're wrong.
Right.
So never assume. Never assume. Be sure. And keep your word. And keeping your word, you have more friends. And the more friends you got, the bigger army you got. And believe me, it is an army. When you have a lot of friends and they all back you, they're there for where you need them. And you have to do for them, as your friends, whatever they need. Never say no.
Well, thank you very much, Turi, for today.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming on here to our show, and I am honored. I'm just in awe by the stuff that you've taught me. I believe you've been a great mentor to me. I carry this. What you left me was just the simple words, and I carried it with me till now, and I believe strongly in it. Is there any last words you want to give my audience?
Sure, sure.
Your family.
Yeah, well, first of all, it goes both ways, Jesse. See, you've done a lot for me, and I can trust in you like you trust in me.
Right.
And that's what I mean. When you have good friends, you have a bigger army. To your followers, I want to thank all the followers that were here with us today. And whether you agree or not agree or disagree, and I've told Jesse this a lot of times. At my age, I don't impress anyone. I don't need a pat on the back. I'm too old for that. I take criticism, I put it in the trash. And I don't mind. Everybody has an opinion, and I don't mind what you think and what you believe in, how religious you are, how educated you are. It does not matter. Being a friend is just good enough.
Amen.
Thank you, followers.
Thank you.
And thank you, Jesse, and thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I want to leave now and close up here. I want to give a special thanks to those that I have breakfast with at the Yoli's Club, Breakfast Club, which is Janio Martinez, a good man, very good man. Robert Hernandez, veteran. Adan Sanchez, very good person. Philip Vargas. Philip Vargas hasn't been around. We love him to death. Jose Avila, Joe Avila. Joe is a pelonero. He's a pelonero and a half.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, Jose Luis Valderas, he's a veteran. Mr. Valderas, he's
War
an
veteran.
War veteran. Oh, he's a war veteran.
Yes.
That I did not know.
Oh, yes.
He's a Vietnam. Okay. Our waitresses, Vanessa and Rose, and of course, Monica, the owner of Yoli's.
Y todos los cristaleños.
Y todos los cristaleños, that's right. Now, I'm going to leave you as a closing with a video called that we named it, Was It Luck in Arkansas? It is part of Turi's story from a migrant time, the migrant when he was a migrant and he had his family with him. So it's a heartwarming story. Please stay tuned to listen, and we'll go off air there.
Please listen to it. It's meaningful.
Yes. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless y'all.
From Crystal City, Texas, also known as Cristal. And as I've said before in the streets, it's called El Vidrio. We are, Crystal City is the Spanish capital of the world, the home of Popeye, and the birthplace of La Raza Unida Party. We are now June of 2025. And we're still here. I'm still here. I'm 77 years old, and I'm still here. That's luck. Anyway, we're going to start this video, and I need to say that this is extras or miscellaneous. Before, I was doing videos with topics like La Raza Unida Party, migrant field work, and my experience as a police officer. Now they're all mixed up. A little capirotada, you know what I mean? And today, I want to take you back to about 1978 or so, 79 maybe. We're going to Wisconsin from Texas. My wife and I and my two little girls. They're both, by that time, I think, 6, 7, 8 years old. Dianita, the oldest, Corina, followed. And I've now, by this time, I've had a lot of experience driving as a migrant and going through states like anything above San Antonio. It was always cautious because of back then the racism, discrimination, the way we were treated. But I was already experienced, so. But in Arkansas, that's a different story. I'd always thought that Arkansas is a bad state, at least in some places. I'm sure that not everyone in Arkansas is just like every other non likable to Mexican Americans, Chicanos. So we're driving up. I'm driving up. I went back past Little Rock, and I'm going straight up to the Missouri. I think it's Highway 55, cruising along, and then I saw that I needed some gas. So we got to stop and get gas, right? So I take an exit. I see a gas station on my left. I take an exit, came to a stop, then turn left. And this memory is very vivid because what I saw is two gas stations, one's on my right, one on my left. Now, the one on the left had two cars and about three gringos, gabachos, güeros, whatever you want to call them, whites, European Americans. About three of them in two cars. On my right, there was a big van, couple of cars, several African Americans or blacks just standing around. So I had a choice, and I went to the safest place that I know. I went to the right, where my black folks were. I pulled up, and I saw kind of about 10 o'clock where I was sitting from. There was this real tall black gentleman. I remember he had suspenders, a white shirt, and a coat over his shoulder. And there was another gentleman next to him, and he was tall, slim, and had a pipe, and he was smoking a pipe. That's what I have. That's what I have tattooed in my mind. And there were several people just walking around. So I got off the car, and then get ready to pump gas. I'm at the gas station or the gas island. And my little girls got off the car and said, "Hi, Dad, can we go inside and buy something?" I said, "Yeah, go ahead. I'll be there in a minute." Now, when they went out on my right side and right in front of my car, and there is a cement island that has a step on it. As soon as they jumped on that cement floor, at the same time, two little girls did the same thing. Two little black girls did the same thing on the opposite side, and they froze. And when I meant froze, they went like looking at each other. stunned. And I shifted my eyes to the back, and those black gentlemen was seeing this, what I'm seeing. So they're locked in without moving, and that took about 5 seconds, and 5 seconds is a long time. And I mean, just froze. Then my little girl said, my youngest little girl says, "Are you going inside?" He says, "Yeah." "Okay, let's go." Okay. Then they all 4 of them started skipping like little kids. And I'm following them, and those gentlemen are following them, and they looked at what happened, and they went over. They all of them just like kids, going inside the store. And I looked back at them, and they looked back at me, and we stared at each other for about 2 seconds or so. And that big gentleman just nodded his head, and I nodded my head back. I knew I was in a safe place, and I knew that was my good choice. But more than that, I'm proud of my little girls. They are the key. They would be the key to the future, our future. Hispanics, Chicanos, Blacks, African Americans, we are one. We have the same problems. We're allies. Now, I'm not putting down the European Americans. There's a lot of them. I have friends, and I'm going to surprise you because I have friends, European Americans. I also have a couple of friends that are racist, white racist friends. Why? Because they trust me and I trust them. They're open, and I am too. They know what I think and they don't mind, and I know what they think and I don't care. But that Arkansas experience was a good experience, and I'm proud of my little girls, and they've grown up just the way they are. All of them. I have 5 kids. They're all very, very good. They're totally non-racist. They don't care. And in my family, I got all kinds of, oh man, it's diverse. I got Chinese, Cubans, Mexicans, gringos, everybody. And we're all good because we're all human. So thank you, Arkansas. You made that, in my mind, a little better than my upbringing. And I'm sure there's a lot of good folk there. And I had a good experience. We got to Wisconsin with no problems. Thank you for listening. We'll do another one pretty soon.